Hello, my friend, your buddy Phil here, project management trainer and coach. I hope you're doing well. This is a video on project management basics according to predictive project management. And I'll just call this PMP exam ideas. These are largely predictive ideas. You don't find this a lot in the world of Agile, but you can find some cross-pollination between some of what I'm showing you here and some of what is used in Agile. So today we're going to take a look at how a project is formed, and I'm going to take you to a website that I have advertised so much on this channel from the CDC. It's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's website. So if you go to tinyurl.com/Sigma PMO, this one right here, you'll find a treasure trove of PMP exam, I call them learning tools, even though they don't call them that. But on this website, you'll find project charters, project management plans, things like that. So the idea is to understand every ITTO that you read, not because you're going to be tested rote, but more because it is a good thing for a project manager to understand the basics of project management. So for your exam, just in order, I would recommend you understand the concept of a needs assessment. This is documented in the PMBOK guide on page 30. Also understand the concept of the business case, which makes a case for the project. Also on page 30, understands the benefits management plan, which is a plan for how to reap the benefits, manage the benefits of the project. That's on page 33. Know the different facets of this plan. It could help you on your test. And then understand the concept of the project charter, the whole concept of project charter. In other words, 4.1, right? Read 4.1 and all of the details in it as far as how the project charter is developed. It's more like it establishes a partnership between the business organization and the customer, if you will, agreement between the performing and requesting organizations, talking about internal projects, and then understand the concept of the project management plan, page 89, page 89, okay? So I'm going to assume that you understand all of these pieces, and now we're going into fleshing out this project management plan. So your project management plan is everything from scope, schedule, cost, everything. Now, when you have a project management plan, a very big part of the focus of most project managers is on what comes in scheduling and costing, because those are big areas. So I wanted to talk about those. So here's the flow of ideas. You get your project charter. Your project charter authorizes the project. From getting the project charter, you then begin to flesh out your project management plan. And a big part of your project management plan is going to be your scope, your schedule, and your cost. And I want to address these. So scope eventually will be decomposed into work packages, and ultimately those work packages is what you use as an input into developing the schedule. So let's go over to an example schedule here. And this is from Microsoft Project. This is from a well-known Microsoft Project 2016 book. But here we see an example of a children's cookbook, children's gourmet cookbook. And in this example, what you see is the tasks. So when you read chapter 6 and it talks about define activities, right? Defining activities is pretty much what you do here. This is define activities, okay? When you have defined your activities, what do you do next? Walking through the process of schedule, you sequence the activities. So you sequence the activities using this column that I'm showing you here, right here. This is the predecessors. You decide what comes first, what comes before A, what comes before B, and so on. And then you can see task 2 comes before task 3. That's all that is saying. Or task 6 comes before task 7. This is the predecessor column. This is really what you do when you're sequencing activities. And you can see an example of how these activities are sequenced. Let's move this a little bit. So right over here, you can see in the Gantt chart view, you can see these are activities, and it's showing you those relationships, those finish to start relationships. For example, this is a start to start relationship. You see that one there? That's a start to start relationship. And this is what you do in sequence activities. After sequencing the activities, you estimate the activity duration. And pretty much in this column right here, you estimate the duration. How long will an activity take? And when all is said and done, you pretty much have your schedule. It's the interrelationships, the start date, the finish dates, pretty much what you have here, along with the predecessor and successor relationships. If I can take those from there and put them over here so we see all the schedule stuff together. And that's it. That's your schedule right there. All this stuff, this is what we would consider to be the schedule. Not even the Gantt chart view. The Gantt chart view on this side is just an interpretation of the schedule, but this is really your schedule, okay? Now, the next thing after you get schedule is to cost out the items. And in the world of cost management, we plan how to manage cost, and then we estimate the cost. So the estimate cost process, I'm going to hide the column. It has more to do with this column called PV over here. Okay, planned value. When you take a look at this number over here is your budget at completion. That's the overall budget for the entire project. But the cumulative spend, when you add up the parent tasks, so if you add up this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, which you could say are the budgeted costs of work scheduled over the entire duration of the project, right? When you add those up, you're going to get your budget at completion. So if you really wanted to be specific, this top value here is your BAC, and everything else that falls under it at one level or another, that's all your planned values. Okay, so you get your budget at completion, and then you just manage it. And how do you manage it? By tracking actual costs and taking a look at the earned value, making sure that you're getting the value that you promised at each time period. Now, the way that is crystallized in those formulas on page 267 in the PMP guide is all in, or I should say largely in these over here, your SPI and your CPI, right? So right now we can see that overall, the SPI is lagging, SPI is 0.24, the CPI is 1. We can see there's some instances where the SPI gets really bad. See, and this just helps you keep track of the cost on the project. We can also insert other columns. We could be creative, and we could insert columns for things like cost variance. Let's put in the CV. There's no cost variance, but you will see there is a schedule variance, and that should be obvious, because if the SPI is not 1, it's less than 1, you know there's going to be a schedule variance. So let's look for the schedule variance, the SV, way down here. There's your SV. And the moment you put SV in, you can see there's a variance. See? So you're $38,000 behind schedule on this project. Now, I know it's old, granted the dates are old, but this is just for illustration purposes. And that's what you do in control cost. See? So understanding a scheduling tool like Microsoft Project, how it works, how the costs get in there, and what you do with them could really help you in your understanding of predictive project management. A lot of the processes documented in the PMP guide knowing a tool like this, knowing your way around it can help you. So my advice is go over this video a few times. Let's get an idea of the pragmatism of this. It's not a big deal, okay? I know some folks think the PMBOK guide component is really scary and it's difficult. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. If you understand the practical application and approach it from that point of view, the exam will not be as draconian, okay? I wish you all the very best. Don't forget, hit like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you're notified about further videos that I put out, and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye for now.